We've got an interesting expert show for all business owners, whether you're just starting out in business or you're long established. We've got some good news from Buckberger Baerg Partners, a local Saskatchewan firm of talented CPAs, ready to help your business and help it run more smoothly and efficiently with their advisory services. We're joined by Chris Frank from Buckberger Baerg. Hey, Chris, welcome to the show.
Hi, Brent. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. I know we've spoke to different folks from Buckberger Baerg over the past year or two. For those that don't know the backstory, though, what's the company all about?
Well, we're a local Saskatchewan firm, and we were founded in 2014 by our original 8 partners, all of which had many years of previous accounting firm experience before starting Buckberger Baerg Partners. Mm-hmm. And we're now a team of over 11 partners with a total staffing complement of approximately 85 individuals. We provide comprehensive, full-service assurance, accounting, tax and estate planning, valuation, and what we'll be talking about in more detail today, advisory-based services.
Yeah, it's going to be an important program for anybody who's a business owner or maybe someone who is in the process of setting up a new business. You'll want to stay with us and hear what Chris Frank has to say. What about your own background, Chris?
Well, Brent, I was born and raised in Saskatoon, and I'm currently a general practice professional within the office. I have 15 years experience providing accounting, assurance, and advisory-based services to small and medium-sized small business owner-managers. I've been a member of our Buckberger Baerg Partners team for over 7 years, and I've had the privilege of working within multiple startup businesses as the leading accounting and finance professional, and therefore I've seen firsthand how the effective operations of the finance and administration side of the business can support and promote the business to achieve better business results.
Now, you mentioned this phrase. Let's elaborate on that. Advisory services. What exactly does that mean?
Well, in the context of what we'll be talking about today, advisory-based services are those services that help our clients run a more successful day-to-day business. So that could be anything from bookkeeping services to process development to migration to more of a cloud-based financial reporting system to integrating some paperless technologies that I'll talk about in some more detail. Again, it's really just focused around, how can we help clients run their business more smoothly day to day?
Well, and as being a small business owner myself, along with my wife, I know that you like to focus on running your business, and some of the other duties that come along with being a business owner aren't so easy, and they're time-consuming. So it's really important as a startup business owner or someone who is already in business and maybe struggling with their time management and finding the expertise to help with a lot of this stuff. It's good to know you've got Buckberger Baerg Partners to help out. Now, what about just basic bookkeeping services? You're involved with that?
Yeah, and bookkeeping services have really evolved over the last number of years. I'm sure many of your listeners can relate to that big wide ledger book that used to sit on the kitchen table where, transaction by transaction, you would record it by pen and paper. You'd be, cross-adding along the side, adding up and down the columns, carrying those totals forward to the next page and so forth. And from there, bookkeeping services eventually evolved into that digital format, those desktop-based accounting softwares. And now bookkeeping services are undergoing, again, another revolution where they're becoming very much based in the cloud. So a lot of the new accounting software systems are cloud-based. And not only are they cloud-based, but now they're integrating a whole lot of online payment systems within the background as well. So now we have bookkeeping that's happening in many cases on the cloud, and it's also integrating these cloud-based payment systems. A classic example would be Square. I'm sure many of your listeners can recount going to their local coffee shop and paying for their cup of coffee over a Square terminal. Well, bookkeeping services nowadays, they not only have to integrate all of the day-to-day banking transactions that happen through the bank account, but they also have to be familiar with all of the data that's being accumulated within that Square account and making sure that they integrate both sets of systems data into the accounting software itself.
Chris Frank is our guest. Chris is a CPA with Buckberger Baerg Partners, and an important program today talking about the advisory services, the advisory operations team that they offer at Buckberger Baerg to help you as a business owner, whether you're established or just getting started. You'll want to find out more by giving their office a call at 657-8999, 657-8999, or their website with all the information you need about Buckberger Baerg and Partners is bbllp.ca. Why are these advisory services important for small business owners to think about, Chris?
Well, we like to think of it as, trying to make sure that we're promoting as best we can the small business owner operator, focusing on what it is that they do so well. Whether that's the product that they sell or the service that they provide. If we're able to take away a lot of the finance and administrative complexities of the business, that really just gives the small business owner more time to focus on the running of their business. So it really is just with the intention of making sure that the small business owner is able to do what they're best at, which is, providing that product or service to their customers.
So is this a one-off, or is this a partnership that basically a business enters into with you and your advisory services team?
That's right. Well, we have a team of 15 team members, Brent, that are providing these advisory-based services, and this is an important and dedicated team within the office that is focused exclusively on providing these services to our clients. And these services are geared towards not only starting a new client's business, but also growing, strengthening, or transitioning that business to the next generation. And whenever our advisory team is looking at, solving a problem or an issue on behalf of a client, we're always looking at those problems or issues with a multiplying time perspective. And so, really what I mean by that is we try and, get involved to look at what the problem is. We not only look at what the problem is, but we try and make sure that solving that problem is going to yield more time in the long run for the small business owner operator. So for instance, an example that I often find myself using is if I'm, paying a bill every month and it takes me 30 minutes a month to pay that bill, but I can go ahead online and just sign up for my automatic bill pay function, and maybe it takes me a couple of hours to get that set up correctly, but after I've done that once, I'm never going to have to go ahead and do that again. So I'm looking to eliminate the need to do that same task over and over when possible. I'm also going to try and automate that task again whenever possible. And if it's not possible to eliminate or automate those tasks, then I'm going to look for ways to delegate those tasks to someone else within the organization.
You'd mentioned to me in our preamble, too, a lot of the change that is coming quite rapidly as far as technology is concerned. And how do you then work with businesses to make sure they're up to speed on all the advancements in the accounting industry? Right.
And it's definitely difficult these days, Brent, to keep up to speed on changes in technology. The last couple of years have been, rocky to say the least. And at the same time that everybody was dealing with COVID and all the, considerations that went into dealing with that, technology continued to change. Businesses were moving more towards the cloud. There was really an emphasis towards remote access. And of course, at the same time, trying to move businesses to more paperless technologies, because with cloud-based services, with remote access, and with paperless technologies, it's really becoming possible to run your business almost from anywhere. And so with the utilization of all of these technologies put together, we're now able to have small business owner managers perhaps in one center and their administrative and finance team perhaps somewhere else, and everything available in real time over the cloud. So the availability of that cloud-based data, it's really beginning to change the way that external accountants are able to advise their clients. Cloud-based services are, much easier to access from anywhere. The implementation of that remote access idea I just mentioned, allows teams within multiple areas to access data in real time. And it's so much easier nowadays to be able to have real-time data through the automation of a lot of that bookkeeping function. So with a somewhat automated bookkeeping function, we now have very up-to-date, real-time financial reporting available. And with real-time financial reporting comes the opportunity to better advise clients in real time on the struggles or the opportunities that are present within their small business.
You're listening to Talk to the Experts for Buckberger Baerg Partners. Check out their website, bbllp.ca. We're back with more from our guest, Chris Frank, after this break on News Talk Radio. Welcome back this half hour. Talk to the Experts for Buckberger Baerg Partners. Brent Loucks along with Chris Frank, one of the team members at Buckberger Baerg Partners, as we're talking about the advisory services that they are now offering for business owners, new businesses, established businesses. Chris, which businesses do you think would most benefit from this kind of advisory help?
Well, Brent, it at some point it almost applies to most industries within Saskatchewan. As an organization, our office serves most every Saskatchewan-based industry. We have clients, small to medium to larger size, that operate in almost all of the Saskatchewan-based sectors. And because these advisory-based services, apply in many regards to all businesses, if you have a small business owner-operator who's listening today, it's very likely if they have an issue that is either, finance or administrative related, that, our team at Buckberger Baerg Partners is available to help, because a lot of these issues, whether it's a construction company or a hospitality business or a professional service, a lot of the issues that go into those finance and administrative functions of the business apply somewhat generally from an accountant's perspective. And so, our expertise serving all of those Saskatchewan-based industries really put us in a good position to address those matters for a small business owner, almost regardless of what sector they serve within their business.
I could see a lot of this new technology and having my bookkeeping in the cloud being a real asset, and especially if I'm just starting up a business. What about for an established business? So they've already got their older systems in place. What can you do for them as they progress to this new system?
So yeah, Brent, one of the things that we can do for small business owners is help migrate their accounting software from a desktop-based accounting software to one of these cloud-based accounting softwares. And because these cloud-based accounting softwares have become so powerful in recent years, the software itself is essentially easily capable of handling most day-to-day small business accounting-related transactions. So rather than the issue in utilizing these cloud-based softwares to their fullest extent is training our clients' teams to understand all the functionalities. So we regularly train clients on how to use all these functions, and we can do that in an individual or a group setting. And in the next couple of weeks, we have another one of our group setting training modules that's just about to begin. And if your listeners want to find out more information about that, they can reach out to us on our website, and we'd be happy to talk through getting them enrolled in that group training session.
Excellent. And that website again for Buckberger Baerg Partners, bbllp.ca, or call their office during business hours at 657-8999. When you hear those amazing services and how a lot of this now is transitioning to the cloud for businesses to keep track of their payroll, to do all of their accounting, basically. Is there a number, though? I always think of my own self in that situation. When things go wrong, does my relationship with Buckberger Baerg include that call saying, I don't know what I'm doing?
Absolutely. And we have clients that come across problems all the time. And so when we have a client that reaches out to us needing some of that advisory-based support, we go through a process to figure out, how we can come up with a solution for them. When approached, we always begin with that exploratory call to understand the nature of the issue. It's important to talk to the client. What is the problem from their perspective? It's important to understand who's available within their organization on their side to maybe help assist our office in resolving that issue or that matter. Do they have, designated accounting staff? Do they have any bookkeepers? Or is it the small business owner manager that's performing the record keeping themselves? Another important consideration is what type of accounting software are they using? Is that accounting software up to date? Is it desktop or cloud based? And does our office have experience with that accounting software? Brent, we've mentioned QuickBooks Online, but there's a number of other options available out there. Xero is another cloud-based accounting system that's becoming more and more popular. But there's also accounting systems that the construction industry uses, the trucking industry uses, and et cetera. And our office may not have experience with all of them, but the interesting thing about accounting software is when you kind of get behind the user interface, a lot of the core functionality is somewhat consistent. All accounting software has to have a way of producing a balance sheet and an income statement, a listing of receivables and payables, and recording those transactions day to day. So even if your business is using an accounting software that may not be super popular outside of your specific industry, it's still possible that our office can help advise on it. Further to that, when we're exploring, what that problem is that our small business owner, manager, client is having, it's important to understand their timeline. Is this an urgent matter that needs to be resolved quickly because there's an external stakeholder that's involved? Or is this a problem that, has been a pain point over time, and it's something that we just have to continue to explore in more detail, but it's not necessarily urgent that we come up with a solution immediately. And after we've done all of that fact-finding, we'll, of course, present the client with an estimate or a quote. It's going to involve those next steps. It's going to involve the staffing resources that we have available, timing expectations, and an estimate of the cost. And then periodically throughout the engagement, we're going to revisit our progress to date. We're going to have a look at whether we need to make changes to our original plan, perhaps due to new priorities that have arisen, perhaps due to a more detailed understanding of what the root cause of the issue is, or perhaps due to a change in scope of the matter and the engagement in its entirety. And then as the engagement draws to a close, we're going to look to debrief on the issue. Were we able to achieve those success measures that we had hoped for? Were there some hurdles identified that required additional resolution? Or did we gain the client's trust to enable our team to explore the next issue that may come up?
Chris, for a business owner who may be listening right now, whether they're just starting out or long established, they like the idea of these advisory services you're offering through Buckberger Baerg Partners. I guess they call, set up an appointment, and you go from there.
That's right. It always starts with that initial meeting, Brent. It's important that both the client and us as the practitioner feel as though we're able to help one another. There will be those, certain client situations or those certain prospective engagements that there might not be the perfect fit. But certainly from my 15 years of experience in talking to small business owners and operators every day, I feel fairly confident that our office can likely help out and solve those problems and, get that client's business on track to be running more smoothly, more efficiently, having access to better data in real time, and making sure that small business owner operator is able to focus on the entrepreneurial aspects of running their business as best that they can.
Business owners, you want to find out more about the advisory services from Buckberger Baerg Partners, call them today. Contact information on their line at www.bbllp.ca. Chris Frank, thanks so much for your time today.
Appreciate it, Brent. Thanks again for your time.
You've been listening to Talk to the Experts on News Talk Radio.